Tell us, what is Google saying in response to this?
Google is saying that it has an open source system with Android, and that there's a lot of choice for manufacturers in what they do. And the European Commission says that while that's generally true, in practice, most manufacturers do take, or are required to take, Google Search and Google Browser, and that brings users into the Google ecosystem, which is important really as a source of search advertising. So while these services are free, in practice there isn't that much choice, and that means that rival app makers, rival web browsers are really not allowed to get onto the Android phones that most Europeans use.
Right, essentially there's a wall or some restriction there for them to get onto that platform then. Aoife, where did this all come from? I mean, how did this come about for them to make for the antitrust authorities to make this accusation today?
Well, the European Commission's been looking at Google on many, many fronts. We saw a statement of objections last year on a shopping search issue. We know they're looking at advertising. We know they're looking at copyright issues. Publishers don't like their content being used without being payment. And this is interesting because it's quite a big part of what Google really makes money on, which is search and search on mobile. The case we saw last year was quite a niche one. I mean, for Google, this opens up a lot of possible issues. I mean, fines is one thing that you worry about when you get a statement of objections, but more so that you might have to change the way you do business. I mean, the EU can order you to do that, or you might agree to do so in order to make the case go away. So it does does create a level of risk for Google in the business that it does in Europe.
Are European lawmakers, Aoife, still urging regulators to break up the company?
They said that they would ask the Commission to break up. They would ask for a breakup if the Commission didn't do anything. I mean, they were really trying to prod the regulators into action. And I think we have seen that action in the last year and a half. We are seeing a very active European Commission looking at Google, looking at antitrust issues. I mean, that matters because the European Union is one of the few areas where they have a lot of power. I mean, as I said, they could order Google to change things. They can order and have ordered Microsoft and Intel to pay a huge amount of fines. I mean, we've seen billions of fines levied. So this isn't something that you can ignore very easily. It can have a real effect on their business.
These antitrust cases, Aoife, they can last a while, can't they? How long are we going to be talking about this for?
Yeah. Whoa. I mean, it's a year on. Last April, I think I was talking to you about this search case, and we still nothing yet. I mean, we don't seem to see any fines on the horizon. They can take a very long time. I mean, Microsoft was mired in battles for 10 years. And as we're seeing with Google, it's not just one thing. It can open up on several different fronts. So it really goes on and on. I mean, it's a big headache for a company. It takes up a lot of time. I mean, for regulators, I guess it shows that they're very active. They like to show that they're doing something for consumers. Most people have phones. So it makes them show they're very active in thinking about what matters to people, and they're interested in new technology coming on and making sure there aren't barriers to new technology. So, but I wouldn't, no, don't hold your breath. I don't think we're going to see something happen on this case immediately. It could be a few years again before I come here saying we know where it's going.